Hello students, welcome to this video lesson in ICT for grade 9. This lesson is part of the practical problem solving and programming unit. And today you are going to learn about variables. Let us start by looking at the contents of the lesson. Lesson contents. We will first see what a variable is, followed by when and why variables are used. We will then learn about how to name variables. We will also learn how to use variables, that is, working with variables. At the end, we will have a quick test followed by a recap of today's lesson. So, what is a variable? A variable is a location in computer memory that has been given a name. Imagine the computer memory as a series of small compartments commonly seen at the entrance of supermarkets. The computer memory has millions of locations. We are not going to name all of them, but only a few that we are going to use. Let us see where are variables stored. In grade 8, we learned that main memory is a place where the computer stores files currently being used. And we just learned that a variable is a place in memory. So a variable is a place in main memory that stores data currently being used by the computer processor. When are variables used? Variables are used when drawing flowcharts, but also when writing computer programs. That is, writing instructions about how to solve a problem. Not all memory locations are used as variables. The number of variables used will depend on the complexity of the problem. Is it a big problem or is it a small problem? Why are variables used? A variable is used to store a value during the execution of a flowchart or a program. The value of the variable can change during the execution of the flowchart or program. When the flowchart or program starts, the variable is reset. That is, it does not hold any value. Let us see some variable naming rules. Variables must be named in a clear and meaningful way. A variable name should be descriptive as to the value it is holding. It is preferable to use names rather than single characters. Study the following two instructions making use of variables. R is equal to F plus S and sum is equal to first number plus second number. Which instruction is easier to understand? R is equal to F plus S is meaningless, so better avoid it. Sum is equal to first number plus second number is meaningful. Why? Because the variables' names are clearly indicating which data they are storing. Reserved words. Another rule for naming variables is that reserved words must not be used as variable names. Reserved words have a special meaning when drawing flowcharts or writing programs. Examples of reserved words are input, output, start, end, begin, stop, if, then, read, write, print, and many more. Let us see an example on naming variables. The problem is finding the sum of two numbers. How many variables are required? We will need a variable to first input and store a number. We will need another variable to input and store the second number. We will need one more variable to add and store the sum of the numbers. 3 variables in all. Think of possible names for variables. For the first variable, to store the first number, we can say x, we can say num1, or another choice is first number. For the second variable, to input and store the second number, you could say y, num2, or second number. Finally, to add and store the sum, we could name a variable s, or sum, or result. Which are the most meaningful and readable names? For the first variable, to input and store the first number, x is not so good because it does not depict the meaning properly. Num1, 2 does not do the job well, whereas first number is both readable and meaningful. So we choose first number. For the second variable, to input and store another number, again we discard y, we discard num2 and keep second number as a first choice because it is a readable and meaningful name. For the third variable, to add and store the sum, s is not meaningful, result is not too meaningful in this case. The best choice is sum. Let us now see the benefits of using meaningful variable names. Using meaningful variable names make it easy to draw the flowchart, read the flowchart, and also to understand the flowchart. Look at the flowchart that uses the variables we just described. See how easily readable and understandable it is. Now let us see how to work with variables. We have the same problem, input two numbers and output their sum. The variables we are going to use are first number, and we reserve a location in memory for that. Second variable is second number. Again, we reserve a location in memory for that. And finally, to find the sum and store it in memory, we reserve a location for that. First instruction, input first number. Say we input number 5. As soon as we press enter, value 5 will be stored in the location reserved for that. That is, at location we identify by first number. Second instruction, input second number. For example, we input 8. As soon as we press enter, 8 is stored in the memory location reserved for that. Third instruction, sum is equal to first number plus second number. So first number is picked up from location first number, and value 8 is picked up from location second number, and added together we get 13. Now you know what is a variable, how to name variables, and how to use variables. So let us have a small assessment to test what you learned in this lesson. We will have some multiple choice questions and some true-false questions. Read the questions carefully. You will have a few seconds to give your answer. Here comes the first one. Quick test 1. A location in computer memory that has been given a name is called A. Option A, flowchart. Option B, variable. Option C, program. The correct answer is option B, variable. A location in computer memory that has been given a name is called a variable. Quick test 2. Which of the following cannot be used as a variable name? A, surname. B, sum. Or C, start. Start is a reserved word used when drawing flowcharts. Hence, it cannot be used as a variable name. The correct answer therefore is C. Quick test 3. The value of the variable can change blank the execution of a program or flowchart. Can change A, during, can change B, before, or can change C, after the execution. We learned during the lesson that the value of a variable may change while the program is running, not before, not after. This makes option A the correct answer. Let us now see some true-false questions. Quick test 4. All memory locations are given names when solving a problem using a flowchart. True or false? False. The number of locations that will be named will depend on the number of variables used in the flowchart. Names are not given to all memory locations. Quick test 5. A variable can be given any name. Is this statement true or false? This is false. A variable name should be meaningful. Also, reserved words cannot be used as variable names. The last question, quick test 6. Using meaningful variable names makes it easier to draw a flowchart. Is it true or false? This statement is true. We can understand and read the flowchart easily when meaningful names are used. So that was the last question of our quick test. I hope you are able to get all the answers correct. Before we end this lesson, let us go through the main points of what we learned over again. Here comes the recap. We learned that a variable is a location in computer memory that has been given a name. A variable stores a value which can change during the execution of a flowchart or a program. We also learned that variable names must be meaningful and that they cannot consist of reserved words such as begin, end, input or output. The recap brings us to the end of this learning session on variables. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Stay focused on your studies and keep learning with utmost dedication. So until we meet for another lesson, goodbye.